Too many places that she could
Good
be.
evening and welcome to Soul Shift Thursdays. And my name is Kat Sticker. And today I have with me a special guest. Oops. There we go. It's Michael. So Michael's joining me tonight and we are going to talk about how you can leverage your intuition to work for you. This is one of our favorite topics. We love talking about our intuition, and so tonight we're going to. I thought it would be a really good show. I got cat hair on my nose. It's tickling me.
We were on a hunt for a cat.
We have lost a cat, but we can hear her meowing somewhere, and so we've been checking the different rooms and closets. I don't know where she could be. She's been missing for a few hours.
Well, we know
I
one thing.
thought she would have been in the children's rooms, but I checked the closets and everything.
Yeah, I
You know
mean,
what? We're gonna have to use our intuition on this one.
oh no,
Where
Well.
could she be?
we know she's not outside.
This is a good show for us to focus on finding the lost cat.
The lost cat.
Her name's Juliet.
Juliana.
Juliana. All right. Well, welcome to Soul Shift Thursdays. We're so excited to have Michael Sticker on here, my beautiful husband, and he's sporting a new haircut tonight.
On accident, because I wasn't listening to my intuition. Apparently.
It looks really good. Looks good. So when we don't recognize our intuition as a special gift, like we just write things off as coincidence that we know something, that we knew something was going to happen, or we ignore developing our intuition, or we don't even have a clue how to develop our intuition, and or we have hang-ups about using intuition, that maybe it could bring out some evil forces, or that it's improper to use your intuition, that's like practicing witchcraft or whatever. Some people have a lot of hang-ups about the use of the intuition, which is a natural gift that we were created with. So let's talk a little bit first about what we mean by intuition. What do we think intuition is? Michael? How would you describe intuition?
Well, I mean, before I really got into everything, I would have described it as just that little hint that you get at the back of your mind, and we're so led to believe it's not a thing. And just ignore it. But before long, you really start just like, you know what, I'm going to lean into that. And when you start leaning into that, things start to happen. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, we're all born with a sixth sense. It's like psychic abilities, basically, and we all have these abilities to some extent. And some people, have them come out more naturally, more easily than others. But anyone can develop their intuition. And
Yes.
so some of the things you can do with intuition are like, connect and communicate with God or your higher self or spirit guides or plants and animals. So those are some of the things people think of. Some people have like premonitions. So there is a bunch of clair senses, what we call clair senses, like claircognizant. Here, I have a little banner for that.
Praise the Lord for the list.
Well, I've got a list so people can relate to what I'm talking about here. Claircognizance, that is clear knowing. That's when you just all of a sudden you just know something. And I wake up knowing things that I didn't know the day before. And that's claircognizance. You wake up with the answers. You doesn't necessarily have to come to you while you're sleeping. Some people just know things. Now, some people see things. They have visions. And that's clairvoyance. And some people hear things. Do you ever hear something? Do you ever hear voices or I think clairaudience was one of my first clairs that I recognized that I had. Now I had I've always had the claircognizance pretty strong, but clairaudience was the other thing, and then clairvoyance came to me. Now clairgustance is clear tasting. That's where you may suddenly taste things that aren't present as a sign of something else. And similarly, clairalience is smelling things. So sometimes you might smell roses or smell the perfume of someone who's passed, or you have like a smell that brings you back. So these are all different clair senses that we all have. You just may have some or some of them develop more than others. So what, Michael, what one? Hey, Dash.
See?
Yeah, cool.
I think the echo is
There's an echo?
yeah, but it's okay.
Okay. Make It 94 says my intuition made my portfolio go red really quick.
Is that good?
Dash says Michael has an echo.
I think it's
Huh, that's funny because you're wearing your earbuds.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing them and I have my door open. Usually I close my door and we're having, you can probably hear me down there, huh? No? All right, so anyway, what you guys, Dash, what clair senses do you feel like are the strongest for you? And when did you first recognize them? Or Michael, you too. Why don't you just talk about yours?
Oh, okay. Well, it's interesting when you said on the waking up knowing things. Well, I tell you what, may not be totally related, but it's kind of funny. So it's one of those things. After having a long day of work, then come home, play a game for a few hours or whatever, and get stuck. Go to sleep, and then suddenly, miraculously, I know how to finish whatever it is.
Yeah. Yep.
And the thing is, I'd been stuck in an area for hours, and I just went to sleep, like just let it go, and then poof.
Sometimes the answers will come to you when you're sleeping, and sometimes just when you're meditating, or when, I don't know, you're just doing something kind of mindless. And if you relax your barriers to those types of messages and let them come through, they'll come through more. Now this show, we're not going to talk about on this show how to develop any of these senses. Oh, Dash says clairaudience. I also smell things, taste things, hear things. A spirit has been showing me lots of things as of late. That's really cool. So you have, wow, you have a lot of the clair senses developed. And have you always been experiencing those things most of your life, or did you take any effort to develop those later in your life? Just curious. So I have had my clairs, going on since I was really little. Um, but then when you try to suppress those things, they can become kind of inactive. But then it's really easy to reactivate those things, and which we'll cover on another show. But I was able to like reactivate my clairsenses, and so experience a lot of intuition. But I feel like my claircognizance really never went dormant, but some of these other things did for a while. Now, what we want to do on this show is just kind of give some practical applications for intuition, because
Ooh.
what good is it if you don't know what to do with it?
Right? It's one of those things where you have these things start happening,
Hmm.
and you're like, mm, shit. Oh, that's not real.
Yeah.
You know.
So, I mean, it's more than just for fortune telling. We can use it for a lot of things. And so, for instance, one of the ways that I think is really practical and valuable is to use it for reading the intentions of others. And when I say that, I don't mean like trying to read people's
I'm
minds.
going to read your mind.
That's kind of invasive, right? Intrusive. But as someone who picks up really easily on other people's emotions, on the vibes that they're giving off, some people call this highly sensitive people or empaths. Those are like different levels of the same thing, basically, where you can sense, like, here's an example. You can probably pick up on when someone doesn't like you, right? Maybe it's really obvious, but maybe they're giving you the finger.
Oh!
But what if can you tell if they're smiling at you um, and just talking to you as if they are polite and everything? Can you still tell if they don't like you,
Mm-hmm.
or other things about them? If you can pick up on other things about people from more than just their body language, but you just sense their intentions towards you, when you can sense something in the air, when someone has bad intentions towards you and your hair stands up on the back of your neck, or you sense someone in the area, though, that type of intuition. And also, for instance, remember we've talked about before, Michael, where we'll go to the store and we'll start feeling really bad because we haven't shielded ourselves from everyone's feelings around
That's
us.
true.
We can pick up on what other people are feeling. It can really affect our own emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And you can really use this. This is a natural ability that is instinctive to us to help protect. I mean, humans were made like that, so we could be aware of our surroundings in our area and be able to pick up when there was danger nearby. And now that we're living more protected environments, we don't really need that sense as much. So it can actually be more of an annoyance when you're at like a Walmart or something and there's a bunch of people that have negative attitudes, and or I guess I shouldn't pick on Walmart, like the DMV.
Oh, that Walmart.
Or it's some place where everybody's negative. You're just like, or work or something.
See?
You go in and you're just like, oh, I can pick up on everybody's stuff. But
Oh, I remember those days.
you can learn to shield yourself from things like that, and then hone in on the people that you want to pick up on. And you can do this to actually make you more, like, raise your social IQ, basically, when you're dealing with people in a business situation, or you're dealing with your own kids, or just anybody that you're trying to develop a rapport with, a relationship. and you can pick up on how what you're saying makes them feel,
Mm-hmm.
and how they feel about what you're proposing. Like, say you're trying to convince them of something, and you can pick up on how they're feeling about that. It's not necessarily through body language. You may not even have to be in the same room. You could be on the phone or something. You can still pick up on these things. So
Yep, because the tone changes.
that's the most practical way, I think,
Hmm.
and easiest way to start using your intuition.
Wow.
And you probably already do
Yeah.
this to some extent, but the more
Oh,
developed your
yeah.
intuition is, you'll really have a much more higher confidence level in what you're picking up on. It's not just in your mind, right?
And here you go. Here is the fine line. With great power comes great responsibility. You know, the more you practice and the more you open up to developing these skills, that means you have to be aware that you're going to be more sensitive as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true. That's true. But you can learn to shield yourself from
yeah.
being inundated all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yep.
hard. It's hard. It's not that easy. But you can practice on it, and then it comes more easily. Or you can just isolate yourself like I do.
But become the shining beacon in wherever you are.
You can just start ordering your groceries online.
Ordering everything online. You ordered how much stuff? Like, my God, the whole front door is like, you can't.
Well, that's neither here nor there, Michael.
That's for a future project. Not for me, but for her. It should be exciting.
So let's look at the comments here. Dash says, knowing that you know, what's upsetting about that is usually the general public thinks we're nut jobs. Well,
And you know what? You lean into that. You're like, yes, I am. All right. Oh my gosh. I remember when I got caught talking to myself. And I'm like, I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to my other self.
oh, that's when I asked you who you were talking to the other day.
Oh my God, that's great. I wasn't even talking about that situation.
Oh. That's okay, Michael.
Okay.
I talked to the wind.
Well, I mean, yeah. Okay.
And yeah, so not everybody, like I said, not everybody's open to using their intuition. And so, the more public you are with using yours, then you could get criticized for that. But you have to own it if that's what you want to do. You know?
Yeah, just see how it feels. Yeah, it may be too much for where you are, like at your job or
And
family.
you don't have to tell people, well, my intuition tells me that you are thinking this. Like, that's not going to go over very well. You may want to just keep that to yourself and not tell everybody, like, where you got the information. All right, secondly, we talk a lot about wellness on this show. And another practical application of using your intuition is looking at your own self. Like, you can do like a body scan, an intuitive body scan on yourself to feel out where you may be having a physical issue, or what a physical issue is caused from. Now, I don't think that the medical community would agree that this is a very scientific method and they'd say just go see the doctor. But not everybody wants to rush to the doctor every 5 minutes, and you can do a body scan every day on yourself, and it can really add to awareness. It's kind of part of mindfulness and being in your own body. But when you're present in your own body, you're mindful, you're present, you're feeling, you close your eyes, you concentrate in, and you see yourself pictured, you like visualize yourself, and then you feel from head to toe and visualize what where things are maybe not the way they're supposed to be. Do you do that, Michael?
Well, kinda. I would say kind of like a Xerox machine.
Yeah, explain how you do it.
Uh, so let's say like usually go from the top down, and it's just like a laser, and it just goes, and you just feel, and try to visualize that, and just slowly go down, and until you get to your feet. And usually, I'll see like points of light. Yeah, and usually those are some kind of sign of an issue.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
So, I'm a very visual person. I do a lot of visualization, and so I picture myself like sitting in a chair, and I'm a white silhouette, and then in the white silhouette I can see like things, objects, not like a pair of scissors or something, but just um, like rock looking things that might be different colors depending on what it is. And then I can visualize clearing all that out. Similarly, with the chakras, you can use your intuition um, to help to balance and clear your chakras. And this is really helpful to keep in balance, not just physically, but also emotionally, mentally, spiritually. The chakras are your energy centers, and it's really part of a good wellness plan, I think. Let's see. Dash says, I don't listen to my intuition sometimes, and every time it's always gotten me into trouble. Yeah, when you ignore your intuition because you think it's just, I mean, sometimes it's hard to tell, is it intuition or I'm just, my conscious mind is really just rattling off things that aren't really true. There can be some self-talk, and it's sometimes hard to tell the difference between your intuition and um, and that self-talk. So that's just practice, on that trial and error. Like
Oh my
that's what
gosh, the trial and
that's
error.
what Michael and I are all about, the trial and error. Uh,
Is it
all right.
better or is it worse? Is
So
it better or worse?
that's great. Um, so intuitive healing, I think that's really a cool thing to try out. Um, to use your intuition, your psychic abilities to find out where you need help on your physical or mental body, and um,
Oh, my mental
and
body.
yeah, and then use your
Oh, my
intuition
mental
to
body's fit.
enhance your healing. And we talk a lot about wellness and healing on our show, and so uh, we're not going to go too into depth in any one of these topics tonight. We just were kind of give an overview of practical applications. But stay tuned for another show on something like that, as well as we should do some shows on developing your intuition as well. Some of our workshops go over stuff like that. All right, so
The chair rocks.
another thing you can do with your intuition is to find your purpose. Now, that's one of the top things that people who are awakened really want to do is they know they have a purpose, but they're not 100% sure what that is, or maybe even not even 50% sure what that is. But you know what your purpose is. You know in your heart what it is. You just haven't realized it yet. You haven't remembered what it is. So you can
So what
use
it
your
is, remembered.
It's remembering. Because you decided before you came to be born in your body what your purpose would be, right? And you just got to remember what that is. And how can we do that? By using our intuition. And there's several ways you can do that, but one good way, because I think it's a good way because that's what I did, was to go through the Akashic Records. And so accessing your own Akashic Records is a good way. And that's another thing we're not going to, I mean, it's too much to cover in a show like this. But
Oh my gosh, right?
it takes a lot, it takes a
A
while.
year later, step one.
But that's something to really look into if you haven't looked into Akashic Records. So Akashic Records is like the record of everything that's ever happened to you or anyone else, and that information is accessible. You might not be able to access other people's Akashic Records without their permission, but you can access your own certainly. And it's a meditative type application, and there's different ways that you can go about doing it. You just have to, do some research on that, or take a class or something, and or you can have other people read your Akashic Records if you give them permission, people that know how. So that is one way to find your purpose, and there are other ways you can use your intuition to lean into more about, to align yourself with your higher self and what you were born to do. What is your purpose for life? And that helps you to tap into abundance. So you can ignore your purpose and go straight for abundance, right? We can start manifesting. Let's manifest. But it makes it a lot easier to manifest if you're aligned with what your soul's purpose is.
Yes, everything
So those
is more
things-
fluid.
To me, that goes together. So that's why I put it on one banner here. So Michael, do you think you know what your purpose is? And did you use your intuition to figure it out?
Ooh.
Tough questions tonight.
That is a tough question. It's like my purpose.
Now, you don't have to tell everybody what your
I don't.
purpose is if you don't want to. But
Well,
wasn't my question. I'm like, do you know what it is?
do I know? I think I've got a good idea.
What percentage sure are you?
Oh, you're making it interesting now. I'd say I'm about 85%.
That's great.
About 85%. So the question is, what's the other percentage?
That's your self-doubt. It's not being sure if you're using your intellect rather than your intuition of knowing what your purpose is.
Oh, wow.
You can put your purpose out on paper. You can write everything out and make it look really good and say, wow, this is great. But is that really your purpose, or you're just trying to make it look good on paper, and then it doesn't work out for you, and you're like, oh, maybe I don't have a purpose. Well, no, maybe you were trying to force a purpose that sounded good on paper, but that's not really who you are in your heart. So that's one way to think about it, is you have to let that ego go and stop thinking about it so much and feel it.
Oh, the thinking too much.
It's the remembering. It's not figuring it out. It's remembering. You don't have to learn what your purpose is. You have to remember it. It's already there. Who are you? Because everybody's someone important. You all have a purpose. All right, enough about that.
Remember that. You're important.
You are somebody. So, and then the final thing that I have, I thought of like 4 things to go over, 4 main practical things, is just on big decisions. So, you know, there's a lot of ways when you have to make a big decision to go about that, and there's practical ways that don't involve intuition. There's just analytical, and those are good. For instance, you know, writing down a list of pros and cons and going through what are the consequences of this scenario, what are the consequences of this scenario. All that's important to do, I think. But what about your intuition? Don't just write that off as nothing, because you may get a lot better insights than what you can figure out yourself. You know, a lot of people say, well, I'm just going to leave this outcome up to God, right? And have faith that that the right outcome will be provided. That's one way to do it. And some other ways are to go into meditation, connect with your higher self, or before bed. You know how I said a lot of things come to you in your sleep. You know, set the intention before you go to bed to connect with your higher self and figure out a particular issue. Also, going back to the Akashic Records, that information is going to be in there. Also, just consulting with other spirit guides. I mean, you may connect directly with God and ask God to give you the answer. You may connect to your higher self. You may connect with a spirit guide and see what they have to say. You may do a shamanic journey. We like to do a lot of journeying, and you get answers that way. And in the journey, you can ask questions, and you'll be shown signs that may lead you to the right decision. So even if you don't want to trust that 100%, it should still, I think, be a factor in your analysis, right?
For
Even
sure.
if you're more scientific minded and you want to do the analysis, well, that's fine. But to have a more well-rounded analysis, you should really listen to your heart on that. What's the right decision? Sometimes we call it listening to our heart, and that's not just our feelings. That's tapping into our higher self.
Well, you remember that's how I got the name for the Grove Reborn.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
that was an awesome creative gift that you were given there.
I was like, well, look at that.
Yep. But and you can use this for big decisions, little decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Some people use it all day long. You know, all day long. Every decision, everything they do, they're tapping into that intuition. So I mean, that's there's different extremes, right? People that don't use any, and people that use it out constantly.
You know, and then
where
there's
are you
there's
on
the people
spectrum?
that know about this, and then they still question. Like, I'm gonna question this. That sounds a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
when it comes to pass, they're like, oh, I should have
Should
done
have
that.
listened to myself.
Yep, I should have listened to myself.
I knew
See?
that was going to happen. You hear me saying that all the time.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen.
Knew that was gonna happen.
Because you do know what's going to happen.
And it was terrible. Is it usually doesn't happen for me in games.
What doesn't happen in games?
My intuition.
Well, because you're using a different part of your brain playing the games. You're not playing the game with your heart. You're using your intellect for that.
Oh my God! Maybe that's what I should start doing.
you could try that. I
That's
mean,
a
I'm
scary
not,
thought.
since I don't play games, I don't really understand how it
Hmm.
works too much. But
Hmm.
that's a good idea. Try that and see if that works any better. See, you know,
Yeah.
let let your intuition take the wheel.
Oh, wouldn't it be? Oh, that sounds like it would be a bad scene,
Challenge.
like a survival horror type game.
What kind of game do you think would would be good to try that with?
I would think a mystery.
Mystery. Oh.
Yeah, where you're trying to decipher what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that'd be a, a little bit more something you could feel into.
Could be.
Versus like a fast paced. It's not meant for feeling, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Like the kind of the war stuff.
Yeah, the worst stuff. That's the best way to put it. Um, like the medium, that game that I was playing. Where we were picking up clues and we were trying to feel into what had happened to all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, so I would say on this spectrum, I don't use my intuition for every little thing, and quite honestly, I don't really have time. My life's so fast paced, and I gotta I do use it a lot more than I used to, and I rely on it and I trust it. Um, and when I know something, kind of like I know what's gonna happen here. Um, some of that may be based on experience, right?
You also have to do the I squint. I knew that was gonna happen.
Some of it is based on experience, but a lot of it is based on intuition. And I trust my intuition now to know when I have a feeling that something's going to happen, it's going to happen the way I think it's going to happen. And so then I would take appropriate steps. It might be something good, it might be something bad, right? Either way, you take different steps for something good than something bad. I try to listen to that to, take advantage of the good things and avoid the bad things, or circumvent the bad things. So it's really useful. It's really cool. It's really cool. Oh, yeah, Dash said the medium. I was just about to mention that one. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of mediums, what do you say we use our intuition tonight and pull some cards? Do you have a deck, Michael? Do you have a big deck with you? I have a big deck. I have
Oh well, look at that.
Whispers of the Ocean Oracle deck by Angela Hartfield. And
Wow.
this is see the heart on that, and all the cards have the little heart. All the cards have the little heart. This is a beautiful deck, and I did like an unboxing video of this deck, but I never edited and published it, so I might go back and do that. And I was thinking of just maybe pulling a few cards tonight and using my intuition. I'm like kind of all excited about the gifts that our intuition gives us. All right, Dash says, I have a question about that because in the spiritual community, what I would hear is something happened because we drew that energy to ourselves.
Well, that's kind of like what is that?
That's the law of attraction.
Yeah, when you're focusing on it all the time, like me focusing on the computer all the time because it's not working, and then it stops working. Here we go.
Yeah, Dash, I worry about that as well. That you know, focusing on, like, I'll say, oh, I know this is going to happen, and um, and then I'll be like, oh no, I don't want to think that that's going to happen, because then I'll just make it happen, right? I don't know how much of that is me making it happen versus just
Yep.
intuitively knowing that it's going to happen.
So say for
Probably some
instance,
of each.
like you were just saying earlier, um, about going to work or going to a place and dreading going in there. Well, we've all been there. We've all been there. And I had that happen so many times. So what I started doing is I just put a block on it. I'm like, oh, I don't care. Just I don't know what's gonna happen when I walk through the doors. So what I did is poof. All right. I flipped the light switch on, went inside, everything was great. Everything was great. Didn't matter, if somebody ran up to me right off the bat with drama. I'm on stage now. It doesn't matter. We're continuing on. And with that, you're holding that that positive or that good energy. So no matter what happens, that positive energy can still be positive when you're going like, I swear to God, if you don't mess with me, yeah. But for the most part, it was great. It didn't matter what was going on, and that what happens is when you walk into a place like that, wherever it is, then you're infectious. They're like, "How are you so happy?" It's because we don't talk about it. Let's go. Let's go. So, and it seems always like it's really worked out really well. You just put on that good vibe right off the bat, and just hit them hard. Just bam, right in. Like, good morning. How are you? What can I do for you? Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, you really are an expert at spreading the positive vibes, Michael. I would say you're an expert level.
Huh. Wow. Well, thank you. I wouldn't have expected that.
Aw, well, you should.
Expert level.
Expert level.
Wow.
So, does anybody want a reading? What deck do you have, Michael?
I have the traditional. I have the spirit of the animal oracle.
Oh yeah, that's pretty. I love that one.
Oh, it's backwards.
That's one. Well, if not, we can just draw a general card for the group, and from each deck. Hi, Facebook user. I can't see who just commented. Oh, I have that deck. It's awesome. So on this
It's amazing.
StreamYard, it doesn't always show me the people's names. A lot of times it says Facebook user.
For privacy issues.
For that privacy, I can use my intuition and guess who it is.
Or just read the comment.
Woo!
Yeah, it feels like it's been a hot minute for me. I've been over here.
Now I'm just sitting with this deck for a minute and feeling into it with my heart, opening myself to spirit, and asking um, what the group needs to know about using their intuition. And then I'm gonna just select a card here. So I got, this is I don't know what kind of fish this is. It's really beautiful. You might know, Michael. You know a lot about fish.
Oh no. Oh,
See, I knew you know.
it's a saltwater. I want to say a a lionfish, but that's
Oh
not right.
yeah, that's what it is. It's the lionfish. All right. So anyway,
Because a friend of
this
mine had one.
lionfish, this card.
Hey, look at that! It's in the comment.
Oh yeah, it's official.
Pull, 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 pull.
Lionfish.
Lionfish. You ain't lying.
Read between the lines. Um,
I should
So
do evening streams now.
the
I'm
card's
pretty awake.
facing your fears, and it says looking for ways to strengthen your connection to the universe and others. Stay peaceful and calm in knowing who you are. And what that says to me about using your intuition is don't be fearful of using your intuition. Don't be fearful that you'll make a mistake by trusting it. Lean into who you are. Trust who you are, and that you're not going to give yourself advice that to hurt yourself, right? If you're leaning into that intuition. Stay peaceful and calm in knowing who you are, because you know yourself, and you may not remember who you are at soul level. You may not remember who you are at soul level. But the more you lean into it, the more you will know who you are at soul level. And the more your connection to the universe will be strengthened, just like this card says at the bottom there. No, my camera's kind of going in and out on the focus on it. But isn't that a good card for what we were just talking about?
Wow.
Yeah. What you got, Michael? What is this?
I got
What do the
spirit
spirit
cards.
guides, the spirit animals have to say?
Let's see.
Your hair looks really cute. You're welcome.
Well, thank you.
Well, I was saying you're welcome to someone who said thank you for the message.
Well, thank you. All right, let's see. Let's see. We got the back. Wow.
Ooh,
Look at that.
Abundant
Oh!
Bison.
Yeah.
That's a good card.
Wow. All right. Bison abundance. Sacred buffalo. Cloak me in your wisdom. Keep me warm through the storms of life. Fill my life with goodness. Teach me the way of gratitude and prayer. Huh.
That's beautiful. What an amazing card.
I don't know. For me, what that really touches on is something that I keep getting on and on here of late is being appreciative and thankful, especially when you're getting anything like this, when you're getting any kind of messages or senses, kind of show some gratitude or thank you for that, because if it is a spirit guide or something else and you just ignore it, well, then it'll just be ignored. The more you appreciate it and you ask for more, or just appreciate it and show acknowledgement of it, you'll start seeing more of it. It's amazing.
That's right. That's right. Gratitude creates abundance, and
Hmm.
that is a great message.
Oh,
That's a great. Thanks for the card, Michael.
yay!
That's beautiful. So, everyone listening, that's the the messages that we got today on how you can apply your abundance in your life, at least for the near future.
I should hope so for the near future. For the near future.
Now, before we go today, I mean, we don't want to keep you guys all night, but I just want to talk for a minute about um,
The banner.
the banner here. This Mind Benders workshop. Why did I make that a ticker? That's annoying. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
So
it's a ticker.
we have this Mind Benders workshop. It was supposed to be this weekend on April 17th, but I have rescheduled it for May 1st, which is in a couple of weeks from now, at the same time on Saturday, because just unforeseen circumstances, some things got moved around, and so now we have this extremely busy weekend, and I don't feel like I'll be able to do a good job on the workshop if we have it this weekend. And I think it's going to be a really good workshop and important, so I'm postponing it. We didn't really have a lot of sign-ups anyway, so that'll give us more time to like advertise it too. But the main reason is I need more time to prepare for that to do a good job, because this weekend I'm going to be slammed with a lot of stuff that got moved around. I wasn't expecting. Now things come up at the last minute, and I'm just having to be flexible on this. And but anyway, the Mindbenders workshop, and this is the one where we're gonna do the labyrinth, the finger labyrinth, and walk through like a healing meditation using our labyrinths. And so what I'm gonna do with that is for the people who register for the workshop, have a printable that you can print out and use that for your finger labyrinth. And we can do some things with that to make it like easier to use, like glue little string or yarn to the lines of it so that your finger can feel its way through.
Oh, that's
You know what I'm
cool.
saying? Instead of just being flat 2D, you make it into 3D by doing something simple like that.
Ooh.
Because they're not, that big and just the flat line. But you don't have to do all that to use it. You can just use it flat if you want to, or you can color it and um, make it your own. You could like glue little rocks to it or something. Then you can make it however you want. But
Hmm.
it's something cool. We're going to talk, kind of about what labyrinths are, a little bit about the history of labyrinths. Briefly, I'm not big on history, so brief history, and then uses of them and how we can use that using our intuition for healing purposes. Because this is like a wellness type workshop, and it's really cool. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can use labyrinths, but this is a wellness way, and so I'm excited about that. It's a 90-minute free workshop. So And I think I had forgotten to. I'd used one of the previous workshops as a template to create that workshop in the Learning tool, and I didn't change some of the information from the prior workshop, so it was probably really confusing to people anyway. That's probably why no one signed up for that. Um, because it had like some of the description from one of the previous workshops on there, and I was like, what did I do? It must have been like real early in the morning or real late at night when I did it, because I'm kind of a middle of the day person. I make more mistakes early and late.
That
So
sounds like me.
apologies for whatever I had put on there. So I've got that edited a little bit now, so it has the right date and description and everything on there. It is going to be May 1st at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Central Time. That's
4
we're on
p.m.
Central
Wow.
Time here, Houston, Texas.
That'll be. I'll be somewhat awake then.
Yeah, that's a good time of day for me to do it. And we don't usually have a lot going on Saturday afternoon about that time. So in the mornings we have a lot of sports activities with the kids. They always have a soccer game or something going on, and so mornings aren't good for us to give workshops for a number of reasons. But that's the main one. We're so
They
busy.
have a very busy schedule.
Yep. And then at night, that kind of interferes with people's weekend plans, to go out and do stuff. So I feel like the afternoon time there is usually a pretty good time. All right. Yeah, Dash, you should sign up for that. It'll be cool. And what I want to do is also go visit some of the labyrinths in town and video that, to have that footage to play. I don't know how that's going to work out playing a video in Zoom, but we could at least have it posted in the class in the workshop as a video you could play later to look at some of the full size labyrinths that are local, because they're everywhere. They're really cool.
I might be able to figure it out.
They're spiritual tools. All right. So, do you have anything else to add tonight, Michael, to this conversation? I'm sorry about this scrolling banner, you guys.
It's so funny. It just needs to be RGB.
Make it stop.
I don't think so. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been fun. Thank you so much. Michael came to decide to come on the show at the last minute. I didn't think
Literally.
to invite him earlier, but I'm glad you did. When when I saw you, I was like, you know what, Michael would be great on this show, because we've done all this intuitive development together,
Oh yeah.
and we're really on the same page on a lot of things. So that's cool. Well, thank you, and thanks for joining us. And we'll
Yeah.
talk to you next time. So I think next time we're doing something on the pillar of, I don't know, it's either alignment, abundance, or harmony, one of those secondary pillars.
One of the
I can't
pillars.
remember what I have planned, but it'll be something really cool. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We love you. Good night.